Anybody know what it feels like to be in the struggle?
All right.
I'm in the struggle right now. And right about now, I'm in heavy battle with fear. Fear is trying to tell me to shut my mouth. But I'm telling fear, I ain't scared of you no more. Fear, I ain't scared of you no more. This piece right here is from one of my favorite individuals, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream. Five score years ago, a great American, Abraham Lincoln, in whose symbolic shadow we stand, signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree became as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who have been sheared in the flames of withering injustice. But 100 years later, the Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the Negro is sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of America's society and finds himself an exile in his own land. So we come here today to dramatize this shameful condition. In a sense, we have come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of the Republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which all Americans would fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, will receive the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But it is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as its citizens of color is concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has written the Negro people a bad check. A check that has come back marked insufficient funds.
That's right.
But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vault of opportunity. So we come here today to cash this check. A check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. There will neither be rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of this nation until the bright day of justice emerge. So let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever continue to conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We should not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to the distrust of all white people. For many of our white brothers and sisters, as evidence of their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. We cannot walk alone. We gotta always march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those that are asking the devotees of civil rights, when will we be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro cannot gain lodging in the hotels of the city and the motels of the highway. We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro's basic mobility is from a smaller ghetto to a larger ghetto. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their adulthood and stripped of their dignity by signs stating for whites only. We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and the Negro in New York believes he has nothing to which to vote. We can never be satisfied. No, 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 we will not be satisfied, and we will never be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I say today to you, my friends, that in spite of the difficulties and the frustrations of the moment, I still have a dream. It is a dream rooted deeply in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day right down there in Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherly love. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream that one day, right there in Alabama, with his vicious races and with his governor's lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom or justice. Right there in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls and walk together as sisters and brothers. I have a dream that one day the valleys will be exalted, the hills and mountains made low, the rough places made plain, the crooked places made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back down to the south with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we'll be able to pray together, eat together, sing together, play together, struggle together, go to jail together, fight for freedom together, knowing one day we will be free. And if America is to become a great nation, then this must become true. So let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the Carpathian slopes of California. Not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountains, Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every molehill and hill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. When we let freedom ring, when we allow freedom to ring, we will be able to speed up that day when all God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, great God Almighty, we're free at last.